All right, so here's the metaphysics of this. The mind of God that is everywhere is within you right now. You right now have access to all of the knowing that there is in the mind of God. So you've got to stop saying, I don't know and I can't decide. Yes, you can. Because the intelligence and wisdom and the power that created the universe is the same intelligence, wisdom, and power that is individualized in you right now. It is God, the living spirit of your being. And so humanly, I understand we may seem limited, but God within us is not limited. God is never, ever limited. So just because somebody we know out here in the world is dealing with worry, fear, doubt, depression, anger, disease, resentment, lack, frustration, on and on and on, does not mean that these experiences are necessary to your everyday living, right? And sometimes I think because we haven't decided in a positive, proactive, life-affirming way for ourselves that we just sort of slip into these experiences that other people are having. And then we wonder, how did I get there? How did that happen? How did I get so depressed? How did I get so frustrated? How did I get so fearful, so angry, so resentful? It just sort of came upon me. And it's like because you didn't make a proactive, life-affirming decision for something else. Just because everybody else has these experiences does not mean that we have to have them. It doesn't make them the truth. Scads of people can be in complete agreement that the earth is the center of the universe. People can agree that the sun revolves around the earth and not the other way around. People for a long time were convinced, and it was heresy to say that the world was anything other than perfectly flat. Now, that was then. This is now. We know a greater truth. So if those are the truths that people operate by, well, that's fine. But they don't have to be your truth. They don't have to be your experience. I think we labor a lot with incorrect knowledge that we'll say to ourselves, well, this is the way life has to be, and well, everybody has this, and everybody goes through that. That's not God punishing us. Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind says that there is no sin, but people make mistakes. And there is no punishment, but there is an inevitable consequence. So there are just consequences for that kind of incorrect knowledge, for that incorrect thinking. People like to say, well, I can't help but being what I am. And usually what they're doing is they're kind of justifying some limitation within themselves. Well, I can't help it. This is just the way I am. We have to wake up to a great fact of life, that you and you alone are responsible for your life. I will set you free today, and I will save you an enormous amount of time. That you and you alone are responsible for your life. So here's a great example. A woman comes to me and she says, well, yeah, I hear that, but sometimes you just get a bad boss or a bad husband. I was like, really? You just get a bad husband? Like it was a piece of fruit that was at the bottom of the bag and you didn't notice that it was overripe and bruised and turning a little moldy? You just get a bad boss? Who chose them? Who chose them? See, the problem isn't that you met somebody and they turned out to be a bad husband. The problem is that you believe that that's all you deserved and you married him. That's the problem. Oh my God, that is just so ugly. That is just hateful, isn't it? But look, the problem isn't that you have a bad boss. The problem is you don't think enough of yourself to cultivate greater faith and belief in yourself to move someplace where you have a good boss. That's the problem, right? It's so much easier to blame the boss and blame the husband, right? So who chose him? You did. So if you want to be in that everything always happens to me, I'm at the effect of everybody, there's nothing I can do about it, that is completely disempowering thinking. It's also spiritually untrue. Right? But that disempowering thinking will never heal you. It'll never raise you up. It'll never allow you to be more in your life. If they're in your life and you want to stay there, then you have work to do. Right? You have work to do. Well, he's a bad husband, but he's my husband. I love him anyway, even though he's a lousy husband. All right, then stay there, but you have work to do. If you're going to stay with the lousy boss, you have work to do on your consciousness. There are beliefs, there are ways of thinking, there are old patterns that need to be healed in you. You know, they didn't just show up in your life from the luck of the draw. This is the hard part of metaphysics. They reflect an unhealed belief in you. They are showing you something about you.